book of Ezekiel stands as one of the most profound prophetic texts in the Old Testament, offering a remarkable lens through which we can understand not just ancient biblical history, but the extraordinary trajectory of modern Israel. As we delve into this exploration, we'll uncover how the prophecies spoken through the prophet Ezekiel thousands of years ago seem to remarkably align with the geopolitical and spiritual realities of the 21st century. Ezekiel was a prophet who lived during one of the most tumultuous periods in Jewish history, the Babylonian exile. Transported from Jerusalem to Babylon after the Judean kingdom's collapse, he witnessed firsthand the devastating destruction of Solomon's temple and the systematic displacement of his people. Yet, even in this darkest of moments, Ezekiel received prophetic visions that would transcend his immediate circumstances and speak directly to future generations. One of the most striking prophecies in Ezekiel's writings centers on the restoration of Israel as a nation. In Ezekiel 37, the prophet describes a profound vision of dry bones coming back to life, a metaphorical representation of the Jewish people's national resurrection. This chapter is particularly significant because it predicts the reunification of the Jewish people in their ancestral homeland after centuries of diaspora and dispersion. The imagery of dry bones represents the seemingly hopeless condition of the Jewish people during their long exile. Scattered across different nations, having endured persecution, genocide, and systematic attempts at cultural erasure, the Jewish people appeared to be a nation without hope. Yet, Ezekiel's prophecy suggests a divine intervention that would breathe life back into this seemingly dead nation. Remarkably, this prophecy found its literal fulfillment in 1948 when the modern state of Israel was established. After nearly 2,000 years of exile, the Jewish people returned to their ancestral homeland, reconstructing a national identity that had been preserved through centuries of challenges. The establishment of Israel was not just a political event but a profound spiritual and prophetic milestone that aligned precisely with Ezekiel's vision. The prophet also spoke extensively about geographical and geopolitical dynamics that would characterize the end times. In chapters 38 and 39, Ezekiel describes a future conflict involving multiple nations surrounding Israel, often referred to as the Gog and Magog War. These chapters detail an unprecedented military coalition that would attempt to destroy Israel, but ultimately be supernaturally defeated. Contemporary geopolitical alignments seem to mirror these ancient prophecies with startling precision. The current geopolitical landscape, particularly in the Middle East, shows configurations remarkably similar to those described by Ezekiel. Nations like Russia, Iran, and various Muslim-majority countries have formed complex alliances that appear to be positioning themselves in ways consistent with the biblical narrative. Ezekiel's prophecies also emphasize the spiritual transformation that would accompany Israel's restoration. He speaks of a profound spiritual awakening where God would remove the heart of stone and replace it with a heart of flesh, symbolizing a deep spiritual renewal among the Jewish people. This spiritual dimension suggests that Israel's restoration is not merely a political phenomenon but carries profound spiritual significance. The environmental and agricultural restoration predicted by Ezekiel is another fascinating aspect of his prophecies. He describes a transformed landscape where desert regions would bloom and become fertile. Modern Israel's remarkable agricultural achievements, turning previously barren lands into productive farmlands, seem to echo these prophetic declarations. The country's advanced agricultural technologies and successful desert reclamation projects stand as a testament to these biblical predictions. When examining Ezekiel's prophecies, it's crucial to understand them within a broader theological context. These aren't simply random predictions but part of a comprehensive divine narrative about redemption, restoration, and God's ongoing covenant with the Jewish people. The prophecies suggest that Israel's restoration is not just a historical accident but part of a larger divine plan. The precision of Ezekiel's geographical descriptions is also noteworthy. He provides specific details about territorial boundaries and regional dynamics that align remarkably with contemporary geographical realities. The prophet's ability to describe future geopolitical configurations with such accuracy continues to astound biblical scholars and historians alike. Another significant aspect of Ezekiel's prophecies is the emphasis on Jerusalem. He consistently portrays Jerusalem as a focal point of divine activity, a city of immense spiritual and geopolitical significance. The modern-day status of Jerusalem, particularly its contested nature and global importance, seems to validate the prophet's ancient declarations. The spiritual implications of these prophecies extend beyond the Jewish people. They suggest a universal narrative of hope, restoration, and divine intervention. Ezekiel's prophecies communicate that even in moments of seemingly absolute despair, divine purposes can be fulfilled in unexpected and miraculous ways. Modern archaeological discoveries have also provided fascinating corroborations of Ezekiel's historical and geographical references. Excavations in the Middle East have increasingly validated the historical accuracy of biblical texts, lending credibility to prophetic declarations that were once considered mere speculation. The linguistic precision of Ezekiel's prophecies is another remarkable feature. Writing in a time of profound cultural and political upheaval, the prophet managed to articulate future scenarios with a clarity that transcends his immediate historical context. This linguistic sophistication suggests a divine inspiration that goes beyond human predictive capabilities. It's important to approach these prophecies with a balanced perspective. While they offer profound insights, they shouldn't be interpreted as simplistic, literal roadmaps. Biblical prophecy often operates on multiple levels: historical, spiritual, and symbolic. Ezekiel's writings invite careful study, deep reflection, and a nuanced understanding of divine communication. The ongoing relevance of Ezekiel's prophecies in the 21st century underscores the dynamic nature of biblical revelation. These aren't static, historical documents but living texts that continue to provide insight, challenge, and spiritual understanding. They invite us to see beyond immediate circumstances and recognize larger, more comprehensive spiritual narratives. For those studying these prophecies, the key is maintaining intellectual humility and spiritual openness. Ezekiel's writings aren't meant to be sensationalized or used as tools for divisive theological debates. Instead, they represent an invitation to understand divine perspectives on human history, national destinies, and spiritual transformation. As we conclude our exploration of Ezekiel's prophecies, we are left with a sense of awe at the intricate ways divine purposes unfold. The restoration of Israel, the geopolitical dynamics of the Middle East, and the ongoing spiritual narratives all point to a reality far more complex and meaningful than mere human political maneuvering. Ezekiel's prophecies remind us that history is not random but carries deeper, more profound meanings. They invite us to look beyond surface-level events and recognize the extraordinary spiritual dynamics that shape human experience. Whether one approaches these prophecies from a religious, historical, or philosophical perspective, they offer profound insights into the human journey. The continued unfolding of these prophecies invites ongoing study, reflection, and humble interpretation. They challenge us to expand our understanding of historical processes, national destinies, and the potential for spiritual transformation. Ezekiel's vision continues to inspire, challenge, and provide hope in an often complex and uncertain world.